Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. Tributes are pouring in for Virat Kohli as he is going to play his 100th test match in Mohali. There are former cricketers who are, sending him their wishes. But Virat Kohli's journey has been incredible. He debuted in 2011 and since then has crossed many milestones. And today, on the eve of what will be his 100th test match, we're here to celebrate the legend of Virat Kohli. I have with me a very special lineup here. There is Ramji Srinivasan, who is the strength and physical conditioning coach of the Indian team that won the 2011 World Cup. He has worked intensively with Virat Kohli and some of the other cricketers. There is Jaideep Ghosh on the show, senior journalist. Vedam Jaishankar is here with us, and Shubhayan joins me in the studio. Gentlemen, today we're celebrating someone who's done so much for Indian cricket, and I think the moment I talk about Virat Kohli, and I know the numbers will tell us what an incredible player he's been for the country, but for me, the thing that stands out, and Ramji can come in on this one, the thing that stands out for me is that Virat Kohli has inspired the next generation to take up cricket, and not just cricket, test cricket. That, to me, is Virat Kohli's legacy.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hit the nail spot on. Yes, it was previous generation. It was Sachin Tendulkar, then MS Dhoni came. Now it's Virat Kohli's era. He left no stone unturned as far as fitness and his dedication, commitment. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And a lot of people can take a leaf out of his work ethics, which is second to none. It's comparable to anybody in the world because he's very passionate about what he does, which is very obvious on the field. And as far as fitness goes, he was always very, very keen on very focused what he wanted to do and where he wanted to be at every stage, which was very prominent from 2009 onwards when we went for the emerging trophy in Australia. Then the transformation of Virat Kohli happened in 2012. That was in Sri Lanka post IPL in 2012. That's when he flowed the accelerator and started to work on his diet, his fitness regimes. Spot on, absolutely spot on, very professional in his approach. I think we can pour accolades and accolades on about Virat Kohli's commitment and dedication and tenacity to be where he is. Yeah. I think credit goes to him in every level, and he's one of the finest cricketers India has produced. We all know that. And from my field of angle, I think a lot of young cricketers can take a leaf out of his work ethics and commitment, and always wants to be number one. He used to be the first to walk out of the dressing room, hit the ground. I remember in 2011, 12, 13, till I was there, and it was incredible, frankly speaking. So it is not a story which you are trying to spin. Because
no, absolutely. The thing is, with the achievements that he's got, I don't think you can spin a story. I think that's incredible hard work that just has shown the results that you see today.
Absolutely.
There's a tribute that BCCI has put on social media, and I want you to comment on this one, where Sachin Tendulkar is talking about how they had gone to a Thai restaurant. It was in Canberra in 2011, and while they were walking back, and Sachin talks about how they'd go to these different restaurants. They would go, to crazy lengths to find good restaurants, and would have these sumptuous, massive meals. And Sachin says that after one such evening, he came to him and said, it's enough. Ab Paji, fitness pe dhyan dena hai. And I'm sure you were part of that journey from there on. So tell me how it began for Virat Kohli, because that is one thing that stands out about him. I mean, the fact that he is where he is because he's made that change to his fitness, and he's inspired everybody else to do so in that team.
Absolutely, absolutely. In 2011, and Virat is a foodie. He loves his food. So is Sachin. They go to any extent to go to fine dining specialty restaurants, whether Japanese or Korean or any of those Italian food. Yes, I would say the transformation happened in 2012 when we went to Sri Lanka, when Duncan Fletcher was a coach. I think the credit also has to be given to Duncan Fletcher to motivate him to get into the next level, because it's a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think I was there, part of the team, when we planned the shift, what we need to achieve in 2013, what do you call, Champions Trophy. That's when everything started to plan, everything started to fall on its place, and a lot of then the youngsters started to come into the team, and everybody started to embark on fitness in every level on a daily routine. Things changed in 2012 to a larger extent, and the foundation for all these things was laid in 2010 before the 2011 World Cup, because everybody wants us to be in a top level of fitness, especially when we are playing in India in 2011 and hot and humid conditions. Yeah. Yes, I think the transformation, again, I'm telling you, he wants to get into a serious fitness level. It started in 2012. And he restricted himself on his diet and hardcore. He will be the first to hit the gym also. So tell me, Ramji, we wanted to, I wanted separate session. He used to be the first to come. Once I retired, I mean, I came out of the team. He had his personal trainer who did also a good job on him. And there were other 2-3 trainers who were taking care of him at that point of time. All did a good job on Virat Kohli, where he is now. I think credit goes to everybody. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's a teamwork. And kudos to Virat to get into where he is now.
Absolutely.
Amazing job.
And you're right that it is teamwork and there are people who are working with you, but at the same time, it's your ambition, it's your motivation in wanting to become better, and that's what stands out about Virat Kohli. But now let's get Jaideep and Vedam and Shubhayan in as well into this conversation. I've got to start with Jaideep. Do you think BCCI were slow getting off the blocks in planning this celebration? I mean, they are celebrating one of the greatest of this generation.
Yeah, because first of all, they're not very sure whether he's actually playing the 100 test or not. But that said, you know, yeah, BCCI being BCCI, it takes sometimes it takes them a little time to react. But once they're on the board, I guess all's good. What Ramji was saying, I really appreciate the kind of focus that Virat had put in, especially considering that he had to go through, he has gone through a radical change in diet halfway through his career, which makes for a massive change. You know, it's not easy for you to come back from one balanced diet and figure out the rest also at the same time and keep that level of fitness, which I think is amazing, and also goes on to reflect the fact that he was a man who has his plan, long-term plans. He's looking to play for India for 10, 12, 15 years. He's not the guy who's looking for the first season, the second season. He wants to be fit enough to be around for a longish time, and he's been around now for 13 years, and he's, I guess, as fit or maybe even fitter than when he was started.
Yeah, we'll continue to talk about Virat Kohli and what this means for the Indian cricket team as well. But Vedam, I've got to come back to the BCCI conversation. And why I'm saying this is that I almost felt like they really lacked the foresight in planning, you know, a celebration for Virat Kohli. It is a big occasion. It is a momentous occasion for Indian cricket. And I just felt like, especially with all that was going around, you know, Virat Kohli and the BCCI president, it could have been avoided, because suddenly you had conspiracy theories on social media saying, oh, there is something more sinister behind, you know, this kind of complete, you know, not really caring about this being his 100th test match. What is your take on it?
Yeah, it's saying that we are having a test match in Mohali, and so are playing. And by the way, it is Virat Kohli's 100th test. You know, that's how the BCCI has approached it. I think what they have really done is very shameful. They don't come across as an organized board. For them to wake up in the 11th hour and say, okay, some of you can go, 50% of you can go and occupy your seats, other 50% stay outside the stadium. It's quite ridiculous. I mean, everybody knew it was going to be his 100th test. You had so many matches with spectators before and after, and suddenly you decide that the 100th test that we're not going to have spectators. I mean, it smacks of a really ridiculous organization, and we can't get over that. If there is one particular board which has not covered itself in glory at this moment, it is the BCCI. Look, 100 tests may be far more common today than it was 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But 100 tests is a milestone. There's no doubt about it. It's a milestone.
Yeah.
And there are not too many. See, cricket itself is a snobbish club. You know, a guy who plays 100 tests obviously is far more revered and celebrated than somebody who has played 50 tests. And somebody who's played 50 tests is celebrated more than somebody who's played one test. And a guy who's played one test is celebrated more than a guy who's played 100 Ranji Trophy matches. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
We can't help it. That's a fact. It's a snobbish setup. And we need to appreciate that. This is the game. This is the game, and this is how we run it, and this is how we appreciate it. To say that the PCCI was not aware that it is his 100th test is ridiculous. They knew it was his 100th test, and it should have been a befitting celebration. You know, the whole country should have been involved in it. It should have been a joyous celebration, not something like, you know, oh, okay, now you can go, now you can have it. You know, it's like a school teacher reluctantly allowing somebody to come in colored clothes for his birthday. It's very poor show by BCCI, and I'm very disappointed that we are not able to treat our heroes as well as we should have.
I mean, this is, wow. Finally, Vedam and I agree on something, Vedam. I mean, since the IPL auction, we've just been disagreeing on various things, but I do agree with you. And why I'm saying this, and Ramji, I saw you smiling there when Vedam was making his point. And why I'm saying this is that this is not something that cannot be planned for. I mean, everybody knows. I also get the whole part of this being more dynamic now with COVID protocols and all of that. You have to take, you know, safety measures. You also have to make sure that the state associations with you, what are the authorities saying there. I get all of that. But I just feel like this came as an afterthought. When you had people on social media saying, how can you do this? You had crowds in Dharamshala, you had crowds in Kolkata, Shubhayan was there. Why is it that on such a big occasion, you're not allowing crowds? And on top of that, one thing that Virat Kohli has always maintained is that he loves having crowds in the stadium. That's what charges him up. He loves to perform in front of people. And that's why I just feel like this wasn't really thought out well. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's actually the board which has...
Yes, Vedam, just let's get Ramji in and then I'll come back to you.
Sorry, okay, sorry.
It's me?
Yes, I put you on the spot.
Oh dear. I think he's a hero. He needs to be taken care of well, because see, if you see the psychology of Indians, we all like only winners, you know, always pouring accolades and other things, because any sports person to this standard has to be celebrated and has to be honored. End of the day, it's real honor to play for the country for a decade or more, and whoever play, whichever sport you are in, you know, to represent a country is a big honor. I think has to be honored in a very dignified way. Absolutely. So that the next generation takes a better, role, or I'm not able to get the right word for that. Right motivation, I would say, right motivation to go to the next level and set up the standard, because whatever said and done, he has done phenomenal job for Indian cricket and world cricket and all formats of cricket, which is also very laudable. You know, it's not just one format of cricket. He has done very well in all formats of cricket. So I think he needs to be honored. He needs to be respected at every level. There is no two ways about it to treat a sportsman.
You know, the fact that we're discussing this, that this is even an issue, just goes on to show how the powers have changed in the corridors of the BCCI. We wouldn't be having this conversation 4 months back, 5 months back, or even slightly before that, but so much has changed. And Shubhayan, I'm going to come get you in this one. I just feel like, you know, there's the stress of what is going on off the field for Virat Kohli, but I also feel that if there is one player, one cricketer who can pull himself out of that hole, it is Virat Kohli. And what better occasion than his 100 test to do so? No other Indian's been able to score 100 in his 100 test. Maybe Virat Kohli will change that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think Virat Kohli, before I start, I would like to tell all our viewers and our panel as well that there's a 71 spin web, we can say, a web pouring around. Virat Kohli will become 71st cricketer to play 100 test matches, and it will be his 71st innings where he will come down to bat since his last century. The 100 situation has come up pretty well for now, but whatever he has done for Indian cricket, you know, and the kind of situation he finds himself in the last couple of months since that South Africa press conference, I think it is about time that Virat Kohli in front of 50% crowd in Mohali pulls himself out of that mud and score a big one. If he can score a century here or even a good amount of runs, 70, 60 in both the innings, I think we will say Virat Kohli is there. And Virat Kohli, Meha, to be honest, is playing well. He has been doing really well, although he has not converted those starts into 50s, but still he's getting those 60s and 70s. And yes, obviously BCCI could have dealt the situation better. They could have planned it better to put Virat Kohli's 100th test in Mohali. With all due respect, arguably the worst ground for test cricket in India.
Oh, yes.
And that to Virat Kohli's 100th test, they could have easily scheduled that in Delhi or in Bangalore. But yeah.
Which is the other thing. I read somebody, and there was such an apt tweet where somebody had said, that now the big responsibility is how to get 50% people to come there in Mohali, because it's so difficult to get people in you know, that part of the country to come and watch test cricket. And I hope that tickets are being sold. You obviously had social media, Twitter warriors saying, come on, allow people, crowds should be allowed. I hope some of those people who have been saying these things on Twitter, you know, get a ticket to Mohali. But Jaideep, I've got to ask you this. Just you know, you've seen Virat Kohli's innings. If you were to talk about maybe a top 2 or 3 of his innings that you think were the best, what would they be?
Well, actually, very honestly, I'm in a bit of a kaleidoscope in terms of Virat Kohli's innings. I mean, you can get confused between one and the other. So I don't think it's very fair to, you know, try judging him by 2 or 3 innings as such. I guess we were talking about this whole Mohali thing. It will be a pity if we have the 100th in Mohali and he comes out with the innings of his life. You know, Virat Kohli being Virat Kohli, you can find innings in everything. You got T20, you see in IPL, you see in Test cricket. That series in Australia in 2012, where everybody was struggling, and this man just playing his maybe the second series, was it? Got 100 in the last test in Adelaide, I think, and against not just the 11 Australians, and against the entire country for that matter, because that was the time when he was, you know, having a fight with the crowd. He was having a fight with everybody and anybody around him. It was very difficult mentally. I think that is that reflected his character as a fighter and a guy who's going to go ahead and do well. IPL, 5 centuries on a trot. I mean, anything. He scores 30 runs, you see the 30 of the best runs. Then he gets out, that people keep wonder why the hell did he get out at 30. Now the 71 thing, you get 71 runs in Mohali, I'll be very happy. But honestly, yes, I think Mohali is not quite the place he should play the 100 test. This is something that I think we already discussed. A lot of other places, they could have, you know, board has got too many things to do. Board has got IPL to plan, 10 teams to, you know, do this, do that, do the other. Suddenly, incidentally, one of the guys has a 100 test match. So, yeah, well, it's a little strange, but what's to be done about that? That's the board. Yeah, even the guys who are in the powers now, look at the way they were treated when they were players and how the board handled them.
And that's why one would think, I'm sorry to cut you, but that's why one would think that they would treat some of the other grades differently, but it isn't to be, right? I mean, to just see this turn out like this, I agree with Vedam that it is shocking and it's shameful to an extent, because you would have just expected someone like a Virat Kohli to be given more respect in the way things are being planned. And now, of course, everybody's coming out and, you know, giving their wishes. BCCI presidents come out and spoken about it, though even in that, the part that stood out for me, and I think Vedam is probably the other person who would have noticed it if he's heard the tribute where Sourav Ganguly is talking about him getting to his 100th test match, but at least alluded to him playing 100 tests twice in that small message. And sometimes I was wondering why that needs to be done, but then again, not getting into the politics of it. We're just celebrating Virat Kohli, and that's why, Ramji, I'm going to come back to you on this one. Some of the players, tell us some of the characters in this team, and let's begin with Virat Kohli, and then I'll also talk about MS Dhoni, some of the others, you know, the characters that stand out for you and why. Let's start with Virat Kohli, just as a personality, as a character.
Personality is like olden days of Amitabh Bachchan, angry young man. So, passionate, highly passionate in whatever he does, and he walks the talk. You know, it's proof of the pudding is in eating. He has done it so well all these years. His character is like that, you know, he's very outspoken, he's very expressive, you know, very expressive in whatever he does. Dhoni is opposite, you know, very cool. Dhoni, I would say, would be like, I'm not able to pick the right example. I would say he's
Fire
like
and
one of
ice.
those
Fire and ice, somebody just
no
said.
emotions, bang on to the target, you know, very, you don't know what is happening. He's an enigma. Dhoni is an enigma. Nobody can predict what is the next move is going to be. So I would say Sachin is a combination of Dhoni and Virat in every level. When he came in and how he evolved himself, how he became a mentor for a lot of cricketers when Sachin is there in the dressing room. You know, it's unbelievable. Different types of character. Viru, Gauti, Virats, Bajji, Lakshman, Dravid, everybody, Zahir Khan, you know, Nehra. You have various characters. And in the middle, you had Virat, Suresh Raina, all these youngs, Rohit Sharma coming in. You know, it's brilliant to watch the dynamics, how they bounced off each other in the dressing room or on the field or off the field. Phenomenal camaraderie between them. You know, it's lovely to watch. I think it's a great management lesson for all of us and how to deal with different set of people in different atmosphere and different situations. You know,
okay, no, I've got to ask you this. Since you were there, you've been part of that dressing room, is there really a rift between Rohit and Virat? Come on, out with it, Ramji, today on the channel.
No. By the time these sort of news comes out, I'm out of the system, actually. I put my hands up.
Did you see the vibes?
Did
you see it?
You know, any sports person, too top notch, they may not see eye to eye, and you cannot take it as a difference of opinion and other things. It's, you know, it's not good to spin a web on these things, you know. You know, it affects the game, it affects the individual, it affects the performance. You know, enjoy the game, enjoy the performance, enjoy the characters. You may not get a character like Virat or Rohit in the future. You know, you need to enjoy the present moment, have fun. Cricket is a game of enjoyment, have fun. As Vedam rightly said, it's a snooty club. Enjoy the snootiness, enjoy the scores, enjoy whatever atmosphere it is, and don't create rift between the players. You know, even Michael Jordan and Pep had an issue. You know, a lot of top-notch players have this very strong characters. They are all, you know, this bound to happen. They may not see eye to eye on issues, but that is not. There may be difference of opinion in the path, but the goal is the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because I managed to talk to someone who's close to Virat Kohli, and one of the things he said is that there are issues and differences of opinions within the team. It's not just Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, there are others as well. You know, so it's just that as professional cricketers, they know when to say, listen, we are playing for the country, let's just keep all these differences aside and do that. And also, what is at stake? I don't think personal differences of opinion can come in the way of performing for the country, and they know what's at stake. There's a, you know,
nothing at stake. Absolutely nothing at stake.
Yeah, so
you know, it's good Twitter followers or Instagram followers, etc. 1 million likes here and there, and nothing. It doesn't augur well in any level. It's forgotten. We have a short-term memory as Indians. You know, we'll forget things very fast because a lot of things come one after another. So this may be one of the things what happened 2 years back. Nobody remembers those things. You know. So look out for, enjoy the game, enjoy the players. These are the players of decade, you don't
Yeah.
get players like this.
Yeah.
So
No, I get
we
it.
should enjoy their presence.
Yeah. I've got to ask you this, and I know that Vedam and Shubhayan, I'm coming to you as well. So keep the best innings of Virat Kohli ready. Start thinking about that. But Ramji, any incident that you can think of involving Virat Kohli which has stood out for you, which you think made you sort of realize, I mean, you knew that he was going to be great because of the way he was playing, but something that stood out about his character, about his personality for you, some incident?
Absolutely, absolutely. This was again, I started out with this in 2009. Virat is a young man, we went to Australia for Emerging Trophy in 2009. Pramir Ramre was the coach. You had all the players. Most of them played in the for the country were there at that point of time. All youngsters, 19, 20.
Yeah.
So Virat Kohli single-handedly won the tournament for us. Trust me on this. Against South Africa in the finals, he single-handedly won the trophy for us. That was the time when everybody took notice. Wow. This man walks the talk, abundance of talent, fearless cricket. That is one thing we have to learn from Virat is fearless cricket. And he enjoys the game. And second thing is 2012, how he hammered Lasith Maliga in Tasmania, scored a century. Remarkable innings.
Yeah.
And then before that, World Cup. Who will forget World Cup in 2011? He played a very key role with Gautam in the finals and Suresh Raina. And the way he carried Sachin Tendulkar made that remark when Sachin he was carrying Indian cricket for so long. Now it's our turn to carry him. What a brilliant, absolutely spot on caption that is. It was not planned. They interviewed him. We were all part of the team standing here and there, levitating literally. So he had this brilliant comment. Absolutely, that stands out to me still.
Okay.
As a young kid,
but
so mature.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think they were showing those visuals on Star the other day with Virat Kohli carrying him after they won the World Cup, and beautiful visuals, absolutely. Vedam, okay. The best innings, the most memorable of Virat Kohli's test innings?
See, if you play 50 tests, you'll obviously have one or two outstanding innings. And the same goes for all the cricketers, all the players. But look at what makes Virat Kohli different. What he brings into the game is far more than just his cricket. His passion. Of course, his talent is, of course, given. When you play for India, talent is given. But his passion, his commitment, his total dedication. See, just before that tour of England, when everything was written that he was Anderson's bunny and Anderson would get him out in no time. I mean, that was the series.
Yeah.
And, it obviously got Virat's tail up, and he decided that he would succeed. That is the kind of passion, that is the kind of commitment that really changed the entire scope of what this guy was capable of. He could have maybe he would have flopped. People would have said, oh, okay, he can't play swing bowling, he can't play Anderson, and Anderson has his number, etc., etc. But he just didn't give him his wicket, and he was scoring centuries there.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the kind of series that sets a guy totally different. And Virat went to the sort of level there. And after which, somebody like Nasser Hussain has done a brilliant video on Virat's batsmanship. He's shown the nuances and things like that. Okay, that's fine. But the commitment, the temperament, the character, the passion,
Absolutely.
Everything came out in that one series. Yeah. And for me, that is defining Virat Kohli.
I agree with you. The first series that he goes for in 2014, averages 13, calls it the lowest period, lowest phase of his life, comes back again in 2018, averages 59, some 500 odd runs, centuries, like you said. Again, the self-belief for me just stands out. Shubhayan, you'll agree. I mean, if there's one person in that team who can come out of everything, it's Virat Kohli. And this was one occasion where he showed that I can come out of where I was in 2014 to perform like this in 2018 is Vedam was saying.
Absolutely, and Virat Kohli later in his career had revealed that he was going through depression after that 2014 series. So to come back out of that, and that's what we were talking about, that if there is someone who can pull himself out of that, Doug, it is Virat Kohli, and we will expect Virat Kohli to do the same thing when he takes the field against Sri Lanka, to score that century and make it immortal, make your 100th test immortal. And more than Virat Kohli, what he has done for test cricket, when MS Dhoni left, it was at the lowest, and to pull back test cricket and bring audience to the stadiums, to make people turn on the TV, let's see what Virat Kohli is doing, let's see what his antics are, how he's batting. I think Indian cricket will forever be indebted to Virat Kohli for this.
Okay, so the last one to Ramji before we wrap this up. We're completely out of time. Vedam, no, you will have to wait. Let's get this question, because I've been wanting to ask this question to Ramji. Now, you've talked about Virat's fitness, his passion to remain fit. We all have things we don't like to do. What is that fitness routine that Virat Kohli completely detests?
I don't have answer for this.
Are you serious? Are you saying that Virat Kohli does not, he likes to do everything? Because everybody else, like I know MS Dhoni, he does not like lifting weights. He's more into running.
Virat does everything. You know, there are, you have a couple of other players who loves to do certain aspects of components of fitness. But Virat likes to do everything. There are others also those who like to do everything, all components. I don't think he has got very strong likes or dislikes for any of this thing. Whatever is going to benefit him, he'll do it.
Wow.
Period.
Okay.
You know, 100%, total commitment. One more thing I would like to add is regarding Virat's temperament is, they used to say, don't sledge Sachin, Dravid, Lakshman, Dhoni and Virat. You know, they would nail their place on the field. Period. You know, never, you leave them alone, they'll go. If you try to nudge them or sledge them, the whole 2 days you'll be bowling.
Absolutely.
That's a fear of the opposition, actually. The more you nudge him or sledge him, the more he's going to be anchored there.
And the Australians have learnt it the hard way. They didn't stop and look what he's done against Australia. He loves to. Yes, Vedam, I'm completely going over. I will get you to talk to me after the show, but I've got to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Ramji Srinivasan, for joining us and really giving us an insight into, Virat Kohli's fitness ethics. What does he like doing? Thank you so much, Jaideep and Vedam as well, and Shubhayan right here. So yes, all the best to Virat Kohli. This is a big moment for him, especially with the kind of phase that he's in at the moment. We just want Virat Kohli performing. We just want Virat Kohli among the runs, and hopefully he can do that in his 100th test. That's it on this special. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.